Hello, welcome to your in-depth horoscope forecast for week commencing the 29th of June for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, please join me directly on Twitter, where we can chat. My handle is @HoroscopeAce. Also, please join Elisa and I for the daily astrology and tarot video show, which is proving great fun, really popular, and you can grab your free daily horoscope every single day. Please see the link for this beneath this video. So we begin this week with last week's quarter moon in the sign of Libra, providing a backdrop of energy throughout this one. With the Sun in the sign of Cancer and Mercury continuing to retrograde, what this is informing us is that we need to just be mindful around emotional considerations or our relationships, just to step back a little bit, keep a sense of logic and detachment, especially if someone disappoints us by not responding quite in the way we would like. Now, this is the week when Mars is going to start its long journey through the sign of Aries, which of course it governs. Now, this can be hugely positive, but it is going to be going through a near to 10-week retrograde, which begins in September, and it will be squaring up with the big three that from this week, with Saturn returning back to Capricorn, are located in that sign. However, initially, I think what Mars is going to do is fire us up, especially around our individual needs. It's also started to forge a very positive link with Venus, which pretty well goes on for most of this month. That's great if we want to connect with people in a way that's not been possible if you've been in a location where the lockdown has been particularly stringently applied. Now, this is also a week from Monday through to Wednesday when the Sun is sparkling beautifully with Uranus. If we can find some fresh ways to evolve, particularly around our home existence, and to flex and to be a bit more imaginative about how we live in our abodes or make the most of our outdoor spaces, this would be a fine thing to do. Some people may be quite entrepreneurial from the comfort of their home, and anything which is quite innovative can actually do very well. Now, on Wednesday at 3:52 a.m. UCT, Universal Central Time, the Sun and Mercury come together in an exact conjunction, combust. Now, this confers on somebody who's born with this in their natal horoscope, as long as they don't have any difficult aspects from Saturn and Pluto, a real opportunity to shine when it comes to using their mind. But of course, Mercury is not at its best in the sign of Cancer and is in retrograde. So the Sun's inching forwards, Mercury's taken a step backwards. But I still think it's a great time to have a powwow with the people that you see as being in your extended family or group, or to express with real meaning how something seems to us at a more emotional level. But it is true, as this week draws to a close, that Saturn does go back into that retrograde. Now, of course, Saturn is dignified in the sign of Capricorn. Its transit through that sign in the previous 2.25 years until the 21st of March is not necessarily in itself a bad thing. It's the fact that Jupiter and Pluto are really side by side in this sign. Jupiter's not at its best here, and this week they are inching closer. It's going to be by the 10th of July that they are absolutely exact. So we've got a polarization between the Sun and Mercury in the sector of emotion and feeling and family and home, and Saturn returning to the part of our scope that's to do with big demands, big responsibilities, more governmental interference or guidance, and with Jupiter conjoining with Pluto that can see some action in terms of the stock market. So how do these two polarities work out? That's going to be the big story of July. But what we can do is fall back on that glorious link between Venus and Mars, which is encouraging us to really try to create a spark between ourselves and the people that really matter. Your specific forecast, Aries, shows an interesting dichotomy. Mars, your ruler, returns to your sign, where it's going to be for an extended stay of over 6 months. And Saturn, the planet of structure, returns to its home sign of Capricorn. That means that both planets are in their dignities. But you know, the interesting thing is that for much of the last 6 months, any more global or wider ambitions you have may have slowed down somewhat. And with Jupiter and Pluto coming together in ever closer a conjunction, which will peak on the 10th of July in this area, it's going to be interesting how Saturn in retrograde contributes to your hopes in these areas. But what Mars is saying is that you can be more direct, show more pizzazz, and move much more into the present. Recently, there's been a lot of energy in your 12th solar house, which may have made you feel sluggish, slow, not very active, or even a bit dispirited. Now I think you can get back on the front foot, not least that Mars is forging a gorgeous alliance with Venus, which runs pretty well through the whole of July. This can see you taking the initiative for much more, particularly when it comes to your social interactions. But this week, of course, the Sun and Mercury, continuing its retrograde in your sector of home and emotions, they come together on Wednesday in an exact conjunction. This is going to be an important month for you around your more emotional responses, because Mars is going to give you much more urgency, which could see you be a bit impatient, and in the last 10 days of July is actually going to be clashing with Mercury. But initially this week, I think this just asks you to think carefully about a personal issue if you're about to share how you feel with someone close to you. But if you do want to be a bit more entrepreneurial, think outside the box in terms of your resources, this week gives you a great opportunity to do that. It's just that with the quarter moon from last week still pouring its energy into this week, someone that you might be quite attracted to may or may not connect with you to the more emotional level, and I would be guided by that for good or bad. Thank you so much for having joined me. If you'd like to explore more serious astrology and ascend above your zodiac sign, please check out my range of affordable reports beneath this video. You can get 30% off if you buy a 12-month forecast and a character analysis, or if you'd like to see the testimonials, you may choose to have a one-to-one with me, which would be a great honour. But for now, take care, stay safe, and good luck.